Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, police are asking for the public's help in finding a man who went missing today near Rogers City. Plus, Schweitzer Veterinary Clinic held a pet first aid seminar today to help out pet owners. And Besser Museum's holiday exhibit is now open to the public. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Michigan State Police are asking for the public's help in finding a missing 47-year-old man near Rogers City. Good evening, I'm Ashley Reed. Mike Shepke, pictured here, was last seen walking on Birchwood Drive near Morrill Road at 1 o'clock this afternoon. He is mentally handicapped and diabetic and in need of his medication, which was supposed to be taken hours ago. Shepke is said to be wearing blue jeans, a dark blue coat, and a blue hat. He is 6'1" and weighs between 175 and 180 pounds. If you have seen Shepke, please contact Presque Central Dispatch at 989-734-2156 or Michigan State Police Alpena Post at 989-354-4101. And a 6-year-old child was sent to the hospital after being hit by a car at 2nd Avenue and Miller Street in Alpena last night. Around 7:30 p.m., officers from the Alpena Police Department responded to the accident. A 17-year-old Alpena man had turned onto Miller Street from 2nd Avenue and hit a 6-year-old child on the crosswalk. The child was transported to Alpena Regional Medical Center with head trauma. Michigan State Police and the Alpena County Sheriff's Department assisted at the scene. No further information is available at this time, and the incident remains under investigation. Police were called to a stabbing early morning yesterday in Alpena Township. The incident happened around 2 o'clock in the morning. The suspect, a 54-year-old Alpena resident, was arrested for aggravated assault less than murder. It has been stated that alcohol was a factor in this incident. The Alpena County Sheriff's Office was assisted by the Alpena City Police Department and Michigan State Police. The suspect is being held at the Alpena County Jail. Once again, this incident is an ongoing investigation and no further details have been released at this time. Pet owners around Northeast Michigan may not always be conveniently located next to a veterinary clinic. That's one of the reasons Schweitzer Veterinary Clinic held a pet first aid seminar today. While the general information taught today is important for pet owners to know, vets say it doesn't substitute for veterinary care or treatment. However, the purpose of the seminar was to give people an opportunity to learn what they can do at home if their pet has a problem. Dr. Danielle Knight discussed seizures, poisonings, problems with ticks, and what she says is one of the most important things, bleeding. If your pet is bleeding, it is important to get it under control by applying direct pressure to the wound and wrapping it.
I think it's really important because people love their pets and they don't want anything to happen to them. But if they do, they need to be prepared to know what they can do to help their pet and not feel helpless.
Dr. Knight says it is also important to have a first aid kit for your pets. A few important things that kits should include are bandaging supplies, clean towels, hydrogen peroxide, quick stop powder, a muzzle, and a thermometer. For questions or more information, contact Schweitzer Veterinary Clinic at 989-356-4880. 100 years ago today was the worst storm in Great Lakes recorded history, and yesterday each lost vessel and crew member were remembered. The Great Lakes Lore Maritime Museum in Rogers City holds 4 bell-ringing ceremonies each year, one for each of the last 4 big shipwrecks on the Great Lakes. Members of the museum as well as other community members gathered yesterday to ring the bell for the crew of the Edmund Fitzgerald that sank November 10th of 1975. They also rang the bell for the 12 ships and more than 230 souls that were lost in the Great Storm of 1913.
Doing these bell ringing ceremonies for the November ships that sank, I know what them guys went through because the water that I was in 65 was 36 degrees.
Erickson is a survivor of the Cedarville that sunk on May 7th of 1965. The ship was rammed by a Norwegian trader in heavy fog by the Mackinac Bridge. 10 crew members lost their lives. Erickson is one of 6 surviving crew members that are alive today. The Cedarville bell ringing ceremony takes place in May. Erickson says these ceremonies are important to maintain history as long as possible. Besser Museum hosted an opening reception for its holiday exhibit last night and hopes to get everyone in the holiday spirit. The exhibit, called The Season of Light, The Gift of Giving, is now open to the public. For $10 last night, people could get an early viewing of the different displays while enjoying snacks and punch. The exhibit centerpiece is a storefront window display.
Besser Museum opens early really to help kick off the season and to get you into the spirit. It's a great way to share something with friends from out of town, family from out of town, great way to build memories with your grandchildren.
The Community Trees Room has a variety of trees on display. Local nonprofit agencies each decorated their own tree to reflect what they do to serve the community. The Wilson Gallery displays on-sale items made by local artists. And the Trees of Nations room consists of trees decorated to highlight the traditions of many different countries. Diane Sharp also has one of the largest Christmas displays set up. The exhibit will be open until December 31st. Creating new and special memories was the goal behind the Girl Scouts and Goodwill's first annual dress drive. 7 Girl Scouts from Troops 992 and 1033 in Alpena collected used dresses yesterday at Goodwill. This was part of a larger effort that has been going on since October 28th. Girl Scouts of Michigan Shore to Shore partnered with Goodwill Industries for the Every Dress Has a Story initiative.
Well, it promotes awareness for the community and what Goodwill does, and also a lot of the community service work that the Girl Scouts do.
Community members were asked to donate formal and informal dresses from their closets so they could be worn by someone else to create a new and special memory. Individuals who donated were asked to share the story of their dresses through social media and on a piece of paper provided at Goodwill stores. 2 Girl Scouts shared their stories with me yesterday.
This dress is special because it is my 5th Christmas with Grandma, and you'll get a special memory to it.
This dress is special because it was my first Christmas program dress. My wish for the girl is that gets the dress is that you have a Merry Christmas.
Dresses were collected at Goodwill locations throughout all of northern Michigan. Yesterday, Girl Scouts in Alpena collected 26 dresses. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, Senator Carl Levin spoke yesterday at the USS Gerald R. Ford christening ceremony. Plus, the iPad may have some competition. Amazon is creating a newer version of the Kindle Fire. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us tonight. In state news, Senator Carl Levin, chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, was the keynote speaker yesterday at the USS Gerald R. Ford christening. With a spirited swing of a bottle of sparkling wine, not to mention a few tears and lots of remembrances, the Navy christened its newest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, at Newport News Shipyard in Virginia. President Gerald Ford's daughter, Susan Ford Bales, did the honors of smashing the bottle. The nuclear-powered ship is the first of a new class of at least 10 carriers that the Navy expects will be steaming the seas, protecting the United States well into the next century. The new carrier is state-of-the-art in naval architecture, according to both the Navy and the shipbuilder. The USS Gerald R. Ford is projected to stay in service until 2057. In financial news, Twitter is singing a happy tune after its highly anticipated debut on the New York Stock Exchange. The stock only retreated slightly. Shares closed at $41. Volatile trading is common for new stocks as investors weigh the long-term values of the company's shares. Amazon is taking on Apple's new lighter iPad, releasing its own lighter version of the Kindle Fire. The full-size tablet actually weighs less than the iPad and reportedly has a sharper display. It also costs about $20 less. And if you're lucky enough to score tickets to the Super Bowl, expect some free stuff to help keep you warm. Fans attending football's biggest game outside in February at MetLife Stadium in northern New Jersey will be getting gift bags that include a seat cushion, lip balm, a pack of tissues, and hand warmers. Gas prices are still dropping. GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan put together state and local gas prices. In Alpena, the highest price for gas is coming in at $3.26 at Standard Express. The lowest is at $3.22 at Murphy USA. Statewide, the highest gas price is $3.79 in Grosse Isle. The lowest price is coming in at $2.90 in Lambertville. There is still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Jeff Kolb will be in with a look at sports. And is this strong wind going to keep making it feel colder than it is? I'll be right back with your weather forecast. Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at the weather. Today the high was 43 degrees. The normal high for November 10th is 46 degrees. Low we dropped down to 37 degrees. Normal low 30 degrees, so we're a little higher for this time of the year. Our record temperature on this day was 67 degrees back in 1931. and temperatures dropped as low as 13 degrees on this day back in 1925. Sunrise this morning was at 7:26, sunset tonight around 5:10. Going into current conditions, currently here in Alpena, it's 35 degrees, south winds about 7 miles per hour, making it feel 5 degrees colder than it really is. Feels like 30 degrees outside. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, a little bit of cloud coverage over Alpena right now. Most of that cloud coverage, though, coming in from the west. Again, we have some snow showers you can see way up here, and then rain showers right now are going through Wisconsin. It looks like they're going to stay south of us, but we might get a little bit of precipitation later tonight. Taking a look at our forecast for tonight, rain showers are likely mostly after midnight. We'll hit a low of 38 degrees, south winds around 15 miles per hour. Going into tomorrow, rain and snow. However, the high temperature is going to be 38 degrees, but temperatures are going to drop very quickly, already hitting 29 degrees by 4 o'clock, and that rain is going to become snow after 9 a.m., so snow for the most part, northwest winds around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, scattered snow showers, a low of 25 degrees, getting breezy again, northwest winds around 15 to 20 miles per hour. However, once again, gusts could hit as high as 30 miles per hour. Taking a look at our week ahead in our extended weather forecast. Tomorrow, Tuesday, snow showers are going to be likely, mostly cloudy. We'll hit a high of 31 degrees. Wednesday and Thursday will be sunny for the most part. We'll hit a high of 44 degrees on Thursday. Friday, a slight chance of rain showers, mostly cloudy. Saturday, slight chance of rain showers once again, but partly sunny. High of 48 degrees and a low of 33 degrees on Saturday. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Tim Rumbles. He sends us this photo of Black River Road looking east from US 23. Nice to still see some leaves and color on those trees. I know some trees around the area are starting to look pretty bare with this transition into the colder weather. Thanks, Tim, for sharing this photo with us. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email a photo along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com. In your Health Watch, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration wants to take trans fats out of our food supply. Government officials says the heart-clogging fats are not safe. Trans fats are in many fried foods and processed foods, but in the last few years, companies, restaurants, and cities across the country have been phasing them out. The FDA believes eliminating trans fats will prevent about 20,000 heart attacks and save about 7,000 lives every year. A new government report shows more than 20 million Americans ages 50 to 75 have not had any screening for colorectal cancer. The numbers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention also show 1 in 3 adults are not up to date with their screenings. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in both men and women in the United States. Guidelines recommend adults 50 and older get a colonoscopy every 10 years or a specialized fecal test every year. And a new study links 2 pesticides to an increased risk of endometriosis. Researchers say the chemicals showed up in blood samples from patients even though the pesticides have been banned for decades. Women with higher exposure had a 30 to 70% increased risk of endometriosis. That's when the tissue that lines the uterus grows outside the womb. In national news, the suspended Miami Dolphin player accused of bullying his teammate told his side of the story today. CBS's Danielle Nottingham has the latest from Washington, D.C.
Richie Incognito says he is not a racist, even though he used the N-word in voice and text messages to teammate Jonathan Martin.
To judge me by that one word is wrong. In no way, shape, or form is it ever acceptable for me to use that word, even if it's friend to friend, on a voicemail.
In an interview televised Sunday, the suspended player said he is embarrassed by his actions, but said his words came from a place of love, no matter how vulgar they sound. Martin left the Dolphins 2 weeks ago, accusing Incognito and others of harassment, including racial slurs.
This isn't an issue about bullying. This is an issue of mine and John's relationship, where I've taken stuff too far, and I didn't know it was hurting him.
Incognito says Martin sent him a friendly text after he left the team. In the message, Martin reportedly did not blame the players for his departure, saying the culture around football and the locker room got to him a little. Martin has not spoken publicly about the issue, but is expected to discuss the case next week with the NFL special investigator. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News.
Fox Sports says Incognito and Martin exchanged 1,142 text messages last year. Sports is coming up next, but first Jeff Kolb is here with a preview of what's ahead. I know there's been a lot of hockey going on, right Jeff?
That's right, Ashley. We'll see who skated their way to being our Street Cats Player of the Week, and the Lions trying to sweep their series with the Bears earlier today. We'll show you those highlights, so stay right here on WBKB for all that and more as the news continues. The last time the Lions won their division, Matt Stafford was 4 years old, and Detroit had a tailback by the name of Barry Sanders. Detroit in Chicago today with the opportunity to take a big step towards its first division title in 20 years. Head coach Jim Schwartz has never left Soldier Field a winner. First quarter, Jay Cutler back from injury and looking pretty healthy on this TD to Brandon Marshall. Bears up 7-zip. Calvin Johnson making history last game and doing the same today. The touchdown, his 63rd of his career, passing Herman Moore for most receiving TDs in Lions history. Detroit up 8. Cutler banged up, so in comes Josh McCowan. No first-team reps during the week, and all he does is connect with Marshall. Bears needing just 2 to tie, but Nick Fraley saying, "Come here, Matt Forte, let me give you a bear hug." Detroit wins 21-19 and is now alone in first place in the NFC North.
This is a great win, no question about it. But you got to make it count. You know, we've got to use this win in a positive light and make sure we're ready to go next week.
Proud of the players, but that's the only thing that it means today. I mean, first place. I mean, you don't get any prizes for first place at 9 games into the season.
In the game of hockey, a defenseman's role is as follows: prevent the opposing team from scoring and keep the puck in your offensive zone, which is why our Street Cats Player of the Week is a man who makes a forward's life extremely difficult. WBKB's Shannon McGrattan has more.
With 1 goal and 6 assists so far this season, Vladimir Makrasov isn't your average defender.
He's one of those defensemen that's really hard. In practice, he's hard to beat one-on-one, and in games, he just reads the play so well.
Makrasov, another Russian player, has his goals set high to secure his future in the sport.
Добиться своих, как сказать, целей. Надо хорошо тренироваться.
He's on top of his game all the time, and just his character, his attitude, makes the people around him better.
Although one of the quieter players on the team, Makrasov makes his presence known through his skating.
He does have a great personality, but he's very focused and determined when he's on the ice.
To make sure no one gets by him.
He's got such great skill, he can just mirror and stay with players. He's got a lot of confidence, he's secure in his skill set, and that makes him who he is.
In Alpena, Shannon McGrattan, WBKB Sports.
This weekend, Makrasov playing tough against a physical Traverse City team, leading all players with 27 penalty minutes in 2 games. Tune in next Sunday as Shannon profiles another Alpena Street Cat. Some other cats on the ice yesterday, the Alpena Wildcats holding their annual green and white inter-squad scrimmage. Coach Pete Dobeck and his staff with 40 players to make up teams and dividing the squads into similarly talented lines. The players trying to put the puck in the net or lay a big hit, knowing a good performance could mean the difference between being on the varsity or the JV, but the coaches keeping tabs on the small details too. Things like how quickly guys are changing lines, specific matchups, and leadership abilities, all factoring into the evaluation process. Alpena with plenty of returners, but Dobeck impressed with his entire program, top to bottom.
I think we have good leadership at this point already on both teams. Skill is there. I think we have depth. Goaltending on both levels is excellent. But seeing some of the newer kids come out with their effort, ability, and enthusiasm, that got me pretty fired up.
And at the pro level, a pair of former Red Wings entering hockey's Hall of Fame tomorrow. Chris Chelios and Brendan Shanahan, 2 of 5 members of the class of 2013. Chelios and Shanahan combining for 19 seasons in Detroit. The induction's getting underway tomorrow afternoon at the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Finally, Michigan falling yesterday at the Big House for the first time under head coach Brady Hoke. The Cornhuskers beating the Wolverines 17-13 on this late touchdown to go ahead. For the second straight week, Michigan struggling to run the ball. Nebraska holding UM to minus 21 yards on the ground. Devin Gardner with one TD toss to Devin Funchess here. The first touchdown for Michigan in 21 days. Wolverines taking ownership after this loss, but Gardner with some strong words for Michigan doubters.
Whoever questions our toughness, they can shove it. I look in those guys' eyes in the huddle, and they're tough guys, and they're going out and fighting for me. So I don't care what any of you or whoever said that.
Guys were working, guys were fighting, guys were doing things that we do them well enough. No, when that goes on me.
So a lot of hockey, like we said earlier,
Lots of hockey.
this weekend. Those two Red Wings going into the Hall of Fame, going to make the city of Detroit very proud. And one crazy stat for you, Ashley. Those two guys, Chelios and Shanahan, combining for 24,376 minutes on the ice in their careers. That's almost 17 days on skates. What do you think of that?
It's a lot of time on the ice.
Absolutely. I'm done after about 2 hours. So.
Oh, I tried ice skating for the first time since I was little a few weeks ago, and let's just say I'm not very talented.
It's a different kind of
on
conditioning
the rink. It really
legs.
is.
Absolutely.
Because I don't like to think of myself as unathletic, but
it's a whole different muscle set and everything.
It really
People around
is.
here, most of them are pretty good skaters.
They are.
I'm going to work on that.
That's the other thing, too. You go to the rink, and you're there with all these hockey players, so
Absolutely.
you look a little
Little
dumb.
kids are
but
weaving in and out.
Well, coming up next on WBKB News at 11, some pretty impressive sandcastles took over Ocean Beach in San Francisco yesterday. That story when we return. Welcome back. With sand comes sandcastles, and yesterday 27 teams took sand and water to build art at the 30th annual Sandcastle competition at Ocean Beach in San Francisco. And it wasn't just for kids. Architects and engineers as well as artists transformed the beach into an outdoor art gallery. The contest is sponsored by LEAP, an organization that provides art education to San Francisco schools. One teacher said when you use the sand, it's a lot different than drawing your creation on paper or making a model. Pyramids were popular and the Golden Gate Bridge too. There was also a sand whale and faces carved out of the beach. The government shutdown last month postponed the contest and it was rescheduled for today. But the organizers at LEAP didn't mind. The team that won will get bragging rights for the year, even though their work will be washed out to sea at the next high tide. Well, is the cold weather here over yet? Because I'm ready to get out and build my own sandcastles.
I know.
That looks fun.
I'm ready to get back to the beach. And since moving here to see the nice waterfront.
Yeah, you haven't been able to enjoy the warm weather at the
Exactly.
beach. So,
Yeah.
and I'm a little bit jealous because it's too cold for my liking here, and we're watching them out in short sleeve.
Be counting down the days until
yes,
summer.
we have quite
Starting
a while
now.
to go. Yeah. All right.
And remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
That will do it for tonight's show, but be sure to catch Kelsey Fabian here tomorrow morning at 11.3. Have a great night.